Hi everyone, I'm Leia Luo. I'm a comedian. It sure is hot outside today. But I'm wearing this sweater. It tells you I'm wise. Like an owl. Anyways, I feel obliged to introduce you to a very important piece of Chinese literature. The novel called 三国演义. It was written by a guy who should know.
Hey, what's going on? Just finished watching the season finale of Game of Thrones again.
Another season will come again next year.
It doesn't really matter. I already know everything that happens because I read the books. Can I tell you that?
Yeah.
Those of us that did read the books kind of thought the other thing was going to happen, but...
I was kind of in the middle of something here.
Oh, but check this out. This is what I wanted to show you. This great sword that I found. It's an exact replica of ice. The name of Ned Stark's sword from A Song of Ice and Fire. It's as wide as a man's hand and made of Valyrian steel.
It's not an exact replica. I was talking about the romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Romance is for French people and other people that speak languages that derive from Latin. It's a good joke.
The Romance of the Three Kingdoms is a very culturally relevant Chinese epic.
Well, Game of Thrones is a very culturally relevant television series on HBO. Plus it's also kind of cool because it's like alternate universe, medieval military history / political intrigue.
This is about political intrigue.
Yeah, but there's magic.
There is magic.
But not too much magic. It never overwhelms the plot. It's nice.
I know, low fantasy. This is low fantasy.
Are there generations-long power struggles between the most powerful families of the realm?
Yes.
Are there dragons?
Technically.
Are there incestuous twins that throw a small child out of a tower?
Hey, you know what? I have an idea. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Leia Luo.
And I'm M.M. Plumm. Welcome to the Cultural Exchange.
On this podcast, we talk about Chinese stuff and things.
And compare them to Western stuff and things.
And it will be geeky because there's nobody around to tell us no.
No social naysayers to rain on our nerd parade.
Which we all know only happens on the internet. Or Comic-Cons. Anyways, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
So we settled on this subject after Leia told me that the internet was abuzz.
Sort of.
With the parallels between Game of Thrones and a canonical work of Chinese literature called Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
The story itself was written in the 14th century by Luo Guanzhong and is set between the end of the Han Dynasty and the beginning of Jing Dynasty.
Here's what Wikipedia has to say. The story, part historical, part legend, and part myth, romanticizes and dramatizes the lives of feudal lords and their retainers who tried to replace the dwindling Han Dynasty or restore it. While the novel actually follows literally hundreds of characters, the focus is mainly on the three power blocks that emerged from the remnants of the Han Dynasty and would eventually form the three states of Cao Wei, Shu Han, and Eastern Wu. The novel deals with the plots, personal and army battles, intrigues, and struggles of these states to achieve dominance for almost 100 years. This novel also gives readers a sense of how the Chinese view their history in a cyclical lens. The famous opening lines of the novel summarize this view.
It is a general truism of this world that anything long divided will surely unite, and anything long united will surely divide.
话说天下大势，分久必合，合久必分。
Valar morghulis.
But I was still skeptical. I mean, that could apply to a lot of different military situations. Where the comparisons start to get interesting is when you start looking at the characters.
The story focuses on the leaders of the Three Kingdoms. Liu Bei, the Lord of Shu, Sun Quan, the Lord of Wu, and Cao Cao, the Lord of Wei.
First, the major protagonist in Romance of the Three Kingdoms is portrayed as Liu Bei.
Liu Bei, the Lord of Shu, claims to be the rightful king as the descendant of kings of Han. He is humble, righteous, and sometimes sentimental.
He's a leader that, although comes from nothing but the remnants of a dead dynasty, easily draws followers.
And though kind-hearted, the most exciting thing about this guy is that he's best friends with two of the top soldiers of the Three Kingdoms era.
And he had a dragon.
Who was actually a person. Liu Bei's advisor was a guy named Zhuge Liang, or Sleeping Dragon.
Zhuge Liang was said to be the smartest man in the world.
And he was a powerful wizard who could predict everything from how the weather was going to be to who would win a battle.
Which makes him a chimeric mashup of Tyrion Lannister and Melisandre, if both of them were working for Daenerys Targaryen.
So Liu Bei was a member of the three Sworn Brothers, the second of which was a guy named Guan Yu. He is known for his facial hair, and his amazing warhorse called Red Bunny. Seriously.
Struck fear into the hearts of men.
He also had a weapon called Qinglong Yan Yue Dao,
which, according to some people, means something dragon, something moonblade, literally.
It is not translatable.
There's no word for thank you in Dothraki.
One of the stories involves this famously bearded horse lord submitting to invasive arm surgery while playing chess.
Now again, we aren't making direct comparisons on every level, but most characters in both stories are neither completely good nor completely evil.
But the clearest cut villain in Romance of the Three Kingdoms is Cao Cao, Lord of Wei.
Though he is portrayed as the antagonist in the book, his brilliance and power is still very impressive. He had the largest army and the greatest ambition among the three. His sons were smart.
And one of his daughters served as queen under a dude who happened to be the son of a former king, yet whose power paled in comparison to the queen's father.
The king is tired. See him to his chambers.
Come along. I'm not tired. We have...
And the Chinese equivalent of speaking of the devil is speaking of Cao Cao.
A Lannister always pays his debts.
Then there's Sun Quan, Lord of Wu, who's quite young but inherited an army from his father, and his younger sister who's trained as a good fighter.
Although I don't remember Robb Stark ever having an advisor who got so jealous of somebody that his lung exploded, which is totally something that happens in Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Other minor character parallels that have been pointed out include Dong Zhuo as Robert Baratheon, Dian Wei as the Mountain, and Xu Zhu as
Hodor.
And events in A Song of Ice and Fire often mirrors those in Three Kingdoms.
Kind of to a creepy degree.
For instance, in order to capture Liu Bei, Sun Quan's advisor told him to offer his sister's hand in a marriage to Liu Bei. Liu Bei came for the wedding, being graceful and good-mannered lord he was, and earned the favor of Sun Quan's mother, Lady Wu. She then halted the scheme, and the wedding went on with only goodwill. So basically, it's as if the Red Wedding had a happy ending.
Or the Chi Bell.
Sun Quan's advisor, Zhou Yu,
who is the guy whose lung exploded,
and Zhuge Liang,
sleeping dragon magic guy,
knew Cao Cao would be attacking Sun Quan's army at Chibi.
Cao Cao's army decided to attack by way of the Yangtze River.
But they weren't water soldiers and weren't used to fighting on boats, so Cao Cao ordered his ships to form a battlefield in the water by linking them together with chains.
So Zhuge Liang and Zhou Yu, who, if you remember, were the advisors to Liu Bei and Sun Quan,
came up with a plan to fight Cao Cao's army with fire.
Which Sleeping Dragon knew would work because he was a wizard who used magic to sway the outcome of battles in favor of his rightful king. And then a shadow demon came out of his vagina.
And by the way, so there you have it.
It doesn't matter if George R.R. Martin never finishes A Song of Ice and Fire because a Chinese guy did it for him over 700 years ago.
And that's the cultural exchange.